Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel, I'm for Classic and welcome to BenchART. So for today, what I do have in here is Enlisted, a new free-to-play game developed by Darkful Software, and it is using their in-house engine. So I decided to take a run with the Intel UHD 620 and see how it goes. So at 720p using the absolutely minimum settings over here and 50% of resolution scaling, I was able to get a so experience, alright? This is not good because this is a multiplayer game and having low frame rates can really affect the way that you play this game. So I got an average of 40 frames per second with 1% of 14, so 4% of the time the game was lower than 30 frames per second. This was the results that I got without recording. So looking to the requirements, at no surprise, it is not really specifies any Intel GPU. But all I have to say is that it can run. In fact, the GPU can run this game. Although not in a way that I would recommend. First of all, on this video while I was recording, I got this massive stuttering where the game just pauses for like 2 to 3 seconds and then resumes. So I want to say that this only happened to me while I was recording, because without recording I didn't have these issues. Although I had much more smaller stuttering going on, typical Unreal stuttering, despite this game it is not using Unreal Engine, but I had kind of small stuttering going on with the game, but it was more and less playable. The thing is, the frame rates that you do get in this game ranges in between the 30 to 45 frames per second. Sometimes in more action scenes you might get even lower than 30 frames per second, alright, but eventually your performance will be pretty much between the 30 to 45. So for any regular game this should be enough, although we are talking about a multiplayer game that it is played in FPS mode, so having these frame rates including small stuttering, it isn't really great, because it's going to get in the way of your gameplay. People will be playing this at 60 frames per second or above, and you are clearly in disadvantage in that regard. Also, not only the frame rate it is the issue with this game, the fact that we are playing with the lowest settings possible, it is bad too for you. Not because the game looks bad, because no, it's not really the case. The game looks amazing at the lowest settings, because it still gets tons of stuff like shadows, reflections, volumetric lighting, tons of stuff that we don't need with an Intel GPU. And it actually consumes a lot of horsepower for that. But the issue, it is really the resolution we need to go in order to have these 30 frames per second. So we are playing at 720p and using 50% of resolution scaling. So everything it is kind of pixelated, mixed up with tons of blur, and this game actually it is really required to have a better resolution, because most of your gameplay will be at a distance, so players hide themselves inside houses, and at this resolution it is really hard to distinguish at a distance if you are looking to an enemy, if you are looking to a pile of boxes, or if you are looking to a pile of grass. We don't really know what we are looking for. The only thing we can tell is if something is moving, probably it is an enemy and I will shoot it. That's pretty much what you will understand while playing this game with an Intel GPU when spotting something at a distance. We don't really know if it is really an enemy or any other thing. So that's really the biggest downside in that regard, and so because of that it is hard to recommend for you to play this game like this. It is awesome anyway. It is a 15 gigs game that tries to resemble a little bit of Battlefield. You can drive tanks, aircrafts, but it is not as big as Battlefield. It kind of resembles a little bit of Battlefield Bad Company 2, but inside World War II and with a much more realistic approach. Everything it is kind of it feels a little bit like simulation, because your character it is really slow revolving. You don't have like the quick movements that you do in Call of Duty or CSGO or Battlefield. So your character always feels a little bit sluggish while you are playing. And I think that is really what they wanted for this game, and I fully approve this type of gameplay. I have no issues with that, but unfortunately I think the game also has a little bit of issues with the character and the interactions with the environment. For example, if you are above a box and you want to jump to above a fence or something, sometimes your character, it seems that it gets stuck or the animation just doesn't play and your character just don't jump above of it. So there are some weird issues going on, but the thing is, this game is still on beta, so there is tons of rooms for improvement. It just started recently, like a couple of days ago, so yeah, they might fix this over time. That's the thing. The game just started, it is free to play, you don't need to pay for playing the game, and they will eventually fix most of the issues with the game. I'm pretty sure of that. Now the biggest downside, in my opinion, it is really, yes, the visual quality that you need to play and the frame rate that you need to play with the Intel UHD 620. So the bottom of the line, the thing that I want to say is that if you want to take this game seriously, with this GPU will be probably impossible. Alright, that's the point. But if you want to play with a friend and you just want to have a little bit of fun, you don't want to take the game seriously, well, I think the Intel kind of does the job in some way or another. Alright, that's mostly the thing. But if you want to take this game seriously, the Intel GPU is not going to cut it. It is just too bad resolution, too bad frame rates, and that really will get in the way of your experience. Alright, so I think that's all that I want to talk about Enlisted on the Intel UHD 620. Hope you keep enjoying the rest of the video, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.